What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Bad Self Show. So today we're going to be talking about what you just heard from the Fed and Jerome Powell, Powell himself said, right? It's probably a lot of good stuff, but you actually know exactly what he said, and we don't because we're recording this on Tuesday. So this is all going to be based on projections and news that is currently out right now. So we're going to break down what's currently happening in the economy, and you should stay till the end because no matter what you heard today, Rel and I think there's something out there that could potentially crash the entire economy because this bubble is ready to pop. So make sure y'all stay until the end, but let's get into the video, bro. What you got?
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna share my screen and all links that we have will be provided for you in the description. But listen, man, this economy is insane. It's like messing with everybody's mind because the economy looks healthy, but Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve are moving so aggressively to get inflation down. So a lot of people thought like his aggressive movements were gonna crash the economy, but it looks like the economy's been healthy so far, right? So numbers for a second, so guys, right now, the GDP grew at 2.9% in December. That was actually better than we expected. So GDP is going well. We're producing as an economy. That's a good thing. That's amazing. Also, PCE, personal consumption expenditure, which is basically how they gauge inflation. Usually people use CPI, but Jerome Powell said that he prefers PCE because it excludes food and energy costs and it gives them a better way of looking at inflation. That decreased to 4.4% annually in December, which is better than it was in November, because in November it was 4.7%. So that means inflation is coming down, not only in CPI, but as well as in PCE. So that's amazing. We're doing well on GDP, we're doing well on PCE, CPI, we're even doing well on consumer spending in the sense that it's coming down because we want consumer spending to come down because people spend so much freaking money that they're just sending inflation through the roof. So now that that's coming down, that's a good thing. But usually that's coupled with unemployment spiking. But this time, unemployment is not spiking. And Newski, do you remember the unemployment numbers for recently?
Yeah, so we actually covered this on our episode on Monday, guys. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. But that number is about 3.5% right now. So it's been staying pretty stagnant month to month. So he's definitely been doing his thing in terms of that rate itself.
Exactly. He really has. It's insane to me because he's been doing these crazy rate hikes, and usually people lose their jobs when it comes to that. But unemployment is near record lows right now, and
that's
so
the whole soft landing thing.
That's the soft landing, exactly. So it's like he's low-key achieving it so far, right? So far, he might be a happy man, but you guys know better than me because you watched the meeting today, and we're recording this on Tuesday. But so with that being said, with the economy looking so healthy lately, and inflation coming down simultaneously, which is the magic trick, it seems that the Fed will be slowing their rate hike to a quarter point, right, which is 0.25%. That's what the rate hike should be for this meeting. And there's a way that you could check that. Like, there's also a reason why we're so pretty sure that that's what he did today, because you could check something called the CME Fed Watch tool. And this is what people usually use along with Federal Reserve speakers speaking over time, right? Because they speak randomly sometimes, and through their interviews, they'll tell us pretty much what they're expected to do. So a lot of them have been saying they're going to do 0.25%, but there's also this tool right here. So there's the CME Fed Watch tool, and you're basically tracking the 30-day Fed funds futures. So they actually tell us what's expected from the Federal Reserve. So right now, everybody's concerned with where will these rate hikes end, right? That's what it's about. They call that the target rate. So currently, the target rate is 4.25% to 4.50%. That's what we're expecting interest rates to be by the end of the year. But after February 1st, which is when you're listening to this, people are pricing in for February's meeting. People are pricing in that it's going to be 99% of people are pricing in that it's going to be 4.5 to 4.75%. So they're pricing in a 25% hike. That's how we know that, a 0.25% hike. They're also pricing in March that it's going to be what? 0.25% again. All right, Newski. So what do you think is going to happen in May? Just even before I click it, what do you think is going to happen in May?
Yeah, honestly, I think that's when a lot of people are thinking it's going to stop, right? And that's the thing. These rate hikes will probably stop because there's a certain number that a lot of people are thinking the Fed wants to go to, and a lot of people are saying that, yo, after they hit that 5% point, that range, they most likely will stop. That's like the magic number in people's eyes, and by people we mean a lot of experts are saying this. So what I'm assuming, and I think what the market is assuming, and based on everything we're seeing, is by May, the rate hikes should stop. It should come to a pause for the next few months, right? And then we're going to see a decrease, most likely. And when that decrease happens, that's when people are like, oh, this is going to be great, et cetera, yay. But just hold on for 2 seconds.
Exactly. And honestly, bro, spot on, right? Because if you look at for May's meeting, the number from the highest number is 55%. And that's for people who are pricing in that rate hikes would have paused, right? It's going to stay at 4.75 to 5% as the target rate. That means that they pause it. They did not raise the target rate. That's why the highest percentage is still that. And it's the same. The highest percentage is that for June. It's like that for July. It's like that for September. Now, when you come over to November, it's when it gets a little tricky.
Right.
It's when it gets a little tricky. Because look, bro, it's tied. It's just about tied, right? About 33% each are saying some people think that it's going to stay paused in this month. And then some people think this month right here is where they decrease it 0.25 basis points. So this is where, or 25 basis points. So this is where they expect decreases. So there's a difference between pausing rate hikes and there's also decreasing rate hikes. So they're not hiking anymore. They're actually decreasing rates. Okay. And that's what they're expecting to happen all the way here in November. And then by the time we get to December, everybody is assuming pretty much that, or majority of them are assuming that they're decreasing by December. So ultimately, what we're taking from this is the market is pricing in that the Fed will decrease rates in November or December by the end of this year.
Right. And the thing is, guys, when you look at these are projections, right? So this is the thing when it comes to projections. If they go the way they're supposed to, it all plans out, it all works out, everything is great. If it doesn't plan out, right? If it doesn't go the way it's supposed to, that means that one, it's not true and it could actually hurt the economy. And two, something unexpected had happened where now we have to play catch up mode and recover, right? We were trying to fix everything that went wrong. And that's why this is super tricky. So yes, no matter what Jerome Powell says today, it's not going to shock anyone if he comes out and says 0.25, guys, that's what we're rocking with. It's not going to shock anyone whatsoever. But what is going to shock people is if you guys heard today him say, hey guys, like, yes, this is looking okay. The economy is doing okay. Everything's working out. However, I think I might continue actually increasing rates up until August or September, right? And if he says that, that's going to be a problem. And this is what Rel and I think is a bigger issue, which is with all these interest rate hikes happening, people are concerned with real estate. People are concerned with the stock market, et cetera, et cetera. But I think something that's going under the cover here is credit card debt, right? And I think that's what we really, really want you to stick around for right now. So if you're still around, make sure you like this video because it helps us out a lot. And we're putting a lot of research into this. So it's completely free for you and helps us out. So if you like us and you think we're good looking, please like that button. But let's continue with this, right? So this is what we want to share when it comes to the actual credit card debt. So the first thing is, let's look at this, right? Inflation has led to credit card debt crisis at a staggering 35% of Americans carry balances month to month, right? 35%. Now, Rael, I'm pretty sure here, but would you say credit card debt, from looking at the numbers, is top 5 debt in the country?
Easily.
Right? So if we are seeing such a high number of credit card debt, and we know that interest rates are also projected to keep going up for the next few months, is that a good recipe or is that a bad recipe?
It's a good recipe for disaster.
Exactly. So guys, when you think about it, yes, right? Like we completely understand that this is not good, but everything's like a domino effect right now. So yes, people are getting laid off. Okay. Consumer spending is down. Inflation's coming down, right? It's coming down, but it's still really high. Like, I think that's something that people are not paying attention to. Since it's really high and people are getting laid off, they're not getting their paycheck, so they're relying more on credit cards. Now, when they rely more on credit cards, credit card usage goes up. But bro, I don't have enough money to even pay it off anymore because I don't have a job. So now my debt increases, right? And now with the higher interest rate, my debt increases more. And that's what this shows you. So a new report by Bankrate found that 35% of US adults carry credit card debt month to month. That's up 29% from last year. And 46% of credit card holders carry debt month to month on at least one credit card. That's up 39% from last year. What's more, apart from credit card balances, 43% of US adults that carry balances don't know all their interest rates could lead to a various debt spiral. And that's what we're talking about right now. What makes it even worse, Rel, is this, bro. Credit card delinquency is expected to increase in 2023. And that's the crazy part. So that it's usually defined as being more than 30 to 90 days late. That's expected to rise from 2.1 to 2.6. And you guys might think, yo, that's barely anything. But that number, when you guys are billions of people and that number is like millions and millions of dollars in debt, that 0.5% could do damage. And that's the problem. And that's why Rel and I are thinking, no matter what Jerome Powell says, right? We know interest rate hikes are coming. It's like, if we don't protect ourselves with this credit card debt, it can get very spooky, which then leads to bubble popping, which could obviously hurt the overall economy in the stock market.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, like even right now, there's a lot of like companies are reporting earnings. This is a big week. We got Apple reporting this week, Amazon, Meta, so Google, and that's something that the investors look at like very strongly, is how these companies are doing on a quarterly basis. And so now if consumers are defaulting on their credit, or they can't even spend as much in the first place, then especially with layoffs coming and stuff where they're not going to have as much money in their pockets, how do you think it's going to affect these companies? Of course, these companies are not going to be hitting their revenue numbers, and they're going to not make their bottom lines. And so therefore, that means that as an investor, like if I'm an institution, I'm gonna hold off on getting into these companies, or I'm gonna sell these companies. And so that would crash the stock market, because if we start to see credit card debt with an uptick, credit card delinquencies more so than even the debt, then it shows you like, okay, well, the stock market's not going to do too well in those conditions at all. And this credit card thing is it's already bad, like even like pretty historically bad, but it's going to only get worse, because as we know, when it comes to rate hikes, we did 4.75% rate hikes in 2022, which is a record. We only did one in the past. We did 4 in 1 year. That takes between 6 to 9 months to feel effects through different parts of our economy. So
just as a correction, right? I think what you're saying is not a correction, but just to make sure it's even more like obvious what he's saying. He's not saying the 4 hikes together take 6 to 9 months. He's not saying that. It's not together. It's each hike by itself takes 6 to 9 months to feel that lingering effect. Just to make that super clear. And he's saying that we did 4 of those. So just think about that math in your head.
Exactly. So it's like we might start to see effects, let's say early in 2023, but then the rate that we like you said, it's lingering. There's still a hike that's going to be felt in June, and then another one's going to be felt in September, and then another. You see what I'm saying? So it's like over time, it's only get worse, bro. Like
it's only guys, think about it like this, right? Another way that really, because we try to simplify everything on this channel, right? Like it's super simple. So when you think about it, if you're a company, right, in 2020, and this is when interest rates were super low, you're taking a loan out, okay? You're taking a loan out for a year or 2 years, okay? Just think about it for a second. That loan for 1 to 2 years is still at 0%, maybe 1 to 2%. But after 2 years, you're either paid it off, which is great because you made so much money in 2020, 2021. But then when you have to take a new loan out in 2022, 2023, when interest rates were going up, well, bro, it's going to be hard to pay that loan off because you're taking on that much more money, but you're taking on that much more interest. And then think about it like this. Now, with interest rates going higher than they were last year, you have to pay that back. But could you pay that back if the economy is doing well and people aren't spending? Probably not. So that means you wouldn't take that loan out, which means you won't scale. So if you don't take the loan out and you don't scale, your company doesn't do too hot, which means the market falls. So you see how this all goes like domino effect for y'all. Hopefully this is clicking now. But that's why Rel and I are saying that 6 to 9 month mark is lingering, all right? Just making that super clear.
And I'm just add on really quick, bro. Quantitative tightening, bro, is also weighing on the stock market. People are not like paying attention to that. The Fed can't even really do quantitative easing because we already have so much debt as a country that it's hard for them to even like start printing money and putting it into the economy again. So it's like, especially when it comes to this credit card crisis or this credit crisis, bro, it's yo, this could be very bad. This bubble, like you said, gonna pop. It could be bad. It has so many effects that's what I'm scared about. So even though we have good economic numbers, like we saw, companies are reporting, some companies are reporting good earnings and stuff. It's like, yeah, well, we ain't out the fire yet. There's something that's stirring up that everybody got to watch out for. So don't say bad till it can warn you.
Yeah, and just to make sure, quantitative tightening when government does not put money into the economy, tightening, right? Easing when they're putting money into the economy, letting go. So hopefully this makes sense, right? Let us know if we were accurate or not with what happened. Y'all watch this, we didn't yet. So comment below and let us know what you guys really think what happened, if you guys agree or don't agree with us, right? We love this stuff. But if you're still watching, thank you. We appreciate you. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Plus hit that little notification bell because we drop
2 videos a week.
You don't want to miss them. You already know what to do, man. Make sure you check us out on Monday. But until then, peace.
Peace.
Soundstripe.